Hello guys, welcome back to the Robertini channel, where we're getting ready for England Euro 2020 in 2021, would you believe it or not? And Dave's got the shirt on. I need to get that shirt. I need to get that shirt soon. I've just gone for the... Dave can't see it through there because I've got my camera on Streamlabs, but I've gone for the classic like red t-shirt, Jack Wills t-shirt, just to show a bit of red in there, you know. I'm gonna try and get one soon for it. But yeah, we're gonna go for our the 23-man team we would bring to the Euros this summer. We're gonna be in the hot seat today, naming everyone would bring to this summer's competition. I believe Scotland have actually named their team today. I haven't really looked at it. England are naming theirs next week on Tuesday. I was actually going to... I had this penciled in to be filmed next week, but then at the start of this month, Southgate goes, no, we're going to quickly get the team out, team announced at the end of this month. So this will be released, hopefully, at the weekend, either on 22nd or the 23rd of May. First of all, I've got to name my guest. The unmuted voice, third time on it. It's a hat-trick for Dave on here, mate. And yeah, how are you doing today? You right?
It's fantastic to be back.
Three times.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah. Considering we just did a testing of the audio beforehand, and every time we said say something into the mic, I went, Spurs are shit. I got a hat trick of that as well. So yeah, but no, looking forward to come back, man. The progress you've made for as long as I've known you's been fantastic. So absolute pleasure.
Oh, much love, man. Cheers. Yeah, it's been crazy, and I will say as well, real quickly, tonight, which is 19th. I'm saying dates all over the place. Tonight on the 19th. Dave has got a new game show that he's bringing out on his new YouTube channel. Points on the board. Really quickly, mate, explain what it is, because I'm loving this idea. By the way, I think this is gonna go.
So just under a week ago from the day it goes live, I came up with the idea. I wanted to do a game show. I've always wanted to do a game show. I always wanted to be on a game show, and I thought, what better way to do it than make it yourself? So there's 50 squares. Behind each square is a question. Each question has a difficulty. The harder it is, the more points you get. If you get a question wrong, that's it. It's game over. And you've got to see how many questions you get right on the topic that you as a guest choose. So if that's something you want to have a look at, I'm sure Rob will leave a channel link in the description. On the channel is an email address, but if not, contact tuv@icloud.com. Email in with your topic and obviously your details about yourself. There's quite a long waiting list, actually, considering the first episode is not even gone live yet as we're recording this. It's going live this evening. But yeah, I'm really, really excited for it. It's a great project, and I can't wait to see how well people know their stuff. So
yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, and I believe tonight as well, we know the guest, Sam. He's doing questions on the Premier League. So everything on the Premier League.
Premier League era. So from 1992 to wherever we are now, 2001.
Yeah,
losing track of time.
Oh mate, the other day I done a Norwich video and I said like, oh yeah, today is so and so 2020. I said for some reason, I don't even know why. Mate, I'm the same as well. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave a link to that channel in the bio down below. And Dave has also got his great podcast channel as well, the Unmuted Voice. They upload every Thursday about 9 a.m. isn't it normally?
It is, yeah.
In the morning. Content can literally range from anything there. It's not even sport related sometimes. It can go from any... It could be a Spurs rant, or sometimes it can be talking about space. It's endless possibilities. So be sure to check that out as well. All links in the bio. Anyway, we're going to begin this today. Now we're gonna obviously start with the goalkeepers. I feel that's a good position to start with, obviously. Now, I've seen people before do 2 goalkeepers in a 23-man team. I always go for 3, just for safety-wise.
That's what I've gone with. That's what I've gone with as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first choice, as in this is a player who I'd be starting more or less every game in the Euros, is Nick Pope. Okay. He's consistent, I think, and brilliant with the Burnley defence. Considering it's a good enough defence already, there isn't a high enough quality there like your Cities or perhaps your Liverpools. But he's part of a great team there. Obviously, he had the second most amount of clean sheets this season. Okay, it's been a bit ropey for Burnley this season, but I think he's a great keeper. And in some ways, I'll put a question here next to him. Is he the best goalkeeper we've got right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, are you
If
with me on
you,
that?
yeah, he's my first choice. And when I
Yeah,
talk about my
nice.
second choice, which mention in a second, considering the club difference between my first choice and my second choice goalkeepers for England, the quality difference and the clean sheets and the saves they make is ridiculous. And my second choice keeper is Dean Henderson.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But he could easily be overtaken by my third choice. The reason he's my second choice and not my first choice, if you actually look at Man United defensively in the last maybe 6 to 8 weeks, his positioning has genuinely been awful. And that's not something I've been able to say about Nick Pope. Also, Nick Pope's 6'7", so
Yeah.
it kind of goes without saying. Really, you want a taller goalkeeper, good reflexes. He's quite quick. He's got a decent kick on him as well. So Pope's my second. Pope's my first. Henderson's my second. Unlucky not to be second is Sam Johnston for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
I think he's been fantastic for West Brom. They've had a really bad season. He's been fantastic. He's shown confidence, and I believe he'll probably be a West Ham, maybe an Aston Villa, someone like that, for next season. So for me, he's my third choice keeper as well.
No, nice. Yeah, I've actually gone. Oh, I was so close to putting Johnston in there. I really was, because he's had an epic season. The only reason why, a lot of you guys will probably know, I've selected Pickford instead, is because of that international experience. However, he isn't going to be a starter in my eyes if I had this team. And funnily enough, it's also that he isn't that tall as a keeper, is he? You know, like I look at Nick Pope, he's a giant. But I thought I'd bring Pickford here because of that international experience. Because he was one of the best in 2018. He was one of the best in there. Yeah. I mean, the penalties against Colombia, awesome. Absolutely awesome, and this season as well, he's just been shaky. You know, he hasn't been the same. You know, you've seen Ancelotti start Olsen, the goalkeeper, instead of Pickford, and put him on the bench. So he's in between my second or third. I do want to say Henderson as my second, but like you said, the position has been awful, questionable at times as well. I mean, in some respects, 37 saves this season, 4 clean sheets, 11 goals in 12 games. It's actually not bad. I think I am gonna put Henderson my third, second choice Pickford, yeah, and Pope will be my first choice, just because Pickford's got that international experience. So, yeah, goalkeepers wrapped up there. I don't think in terms of all over the place, we don't really have a goalkeeper at the moment where you go, this is the best in the world. In some cases, like we would in the opposite end of the field, in the striking department, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah,
it's very much a case of this person is a lesser of three evils as opposed to this person's absolutely outstanding. So
yeah, literally
typical
that.
England problems.
Proper, mate. Proper. Maybe one day we'll have like a class goalkeeper. That'd be nice. Maybe I'm dreaming. I don't know. Okay, defense is what we're gonna go for. Here we go, in front of the goalkeeper. So I'm going to go for my left back to begin with. This is a player who I'd like to see start a lot. Again, like Pope, more or less every game. And that's going to be Luke Shaw. I'm
assuming you're taking 2 left backs, right?
I'm taking 2 left backs. So I've got one left back, which is Luke Shaw. I'll get onto the other one. Where have I got him?
Yeah, that's fine.
I've got him on the other page on my notes. But yeah, Luke Shaw we're finally seeing the real Luke Shaw here, aren't we? We're finally seeing the potential that we heard that he'd have, or one day will have, when he was at the Saints. And now we're finally seeing him actually have that in the United shirt. I feel United are actually getting his worth now out of him, his value out of him now. I've loved watching him this season. He brings strength to the team. He's actually I'd actually put him in my Premier League team of the season, which we were, funnily enough, talking about before the video started. He's looked threatening in the counter-attacks for United this season. He controls the ball well as well. Keeps possession. And one thing for sure, and this also goes with my other left back, he can do this, but one thing for sure is if he's up there, he can put some accurate crosses into Harry Kane and get us some goals. That's for sure. And I feel under Southgate, he'd do well. He'd do well this summer. So yeah, Luke Shaw. If you've got left back straight away,
Luke Shaw's my first choice left back for the exact same reasons. I shadowed the exact same reasons for yourself. My second choice left back was a very, very difficult decision.
Yeah.
Between Aaron Cresswell, who I think's had an absolutely outstanding season this season, But just purely because he's younger and slightly a bit more athletic, Ben Chilwell gets in there ahead of him.
I'm the same
But
with
as I
Chilwell.
say, unlucky for Aaron Cresswell to miss out, unfortunately. But for me, Chilwell gets in there just because of the athleticism. I'll be honest with you, internationally, neither have really shown more than the other. So if Shaw starts one game, Chilwell starts the next, I've not got a problem with that.
Yeah.
But for me, both of them deservingly called up. As I say, unlucky for Aaron Cresswell not to make to miss out. Luke Shaw is my starting at left back.
Yeah, no, I've gone for Chilwell as well. And like you said, a little unlucky with Cresswell as well too. We actually messaged him before we started recording today, and I was like, there's so many players who deserve a place but aren't getting a place just because they're just unlucky not to get there. But yeah, you know what you get with Chilwell though, don't you? You know, he's able to wriggle into the box. He's unnoticed a lot of the time in the box. I feel like for Chelsea, I've seen him this season. He'll run in the box, no one will notice him there, and he'll put a header in to the back of the net, or certainly test the goalkeeper. We'll go for our two centre halves then. Well, I've got two centre halves who I want to see start more or less every game again. I've got other centre halves who I'm going to talk about as well. But let's go for the two to begin with. Who then? So I've got a grunt player in terms of a bit of a brute player, Harry Maguire, and then someone who can perhaps be perfectionist, cleanest, in the defence, which is John Stones. Yeah, Maguire makes the best blocks, I think. He does.
I was going to say
everything.
on Maguire.
Yeah.
Just to throw a spanner in your works, Man United released a statement today saying I highly doubt he's going to be fit before the season. So I highly doubt he'll be fit for the
season. Oh, that's stinker here, boys. Okay.
Which is why he's penciled in a box on my list because I don't think he will.
He won't be in.
He'll be going to
that's annoying. That's annoying. You know what? It's a shame in a way because it would be great to see him.
He's had the form of his life this season.
Yeah.
He's played fantastically for United this season.
Yeah.
Not £80 million fantastic, but he's played fantastic.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And he went to town last time in 2018, didn't he, with England too? Yeah. I've got another choice who I'd select in some ways then. I'll get on to him. But I've gone for, obviously, John Stones, like I said as well. We've seen the real John Stones. We've seen himself come again this season. Working with DS has done him wonders of good in that duo partnership that they've had. He can read the ball well now, really well. He's great for hanging on to the last man. And as well as that, I'm trying to bring players this season who've got that winning mentality. And John Stones is part of a winning mentality team with Pep Guardiola. So I feel John Stones is key. Who are you two centre-halves?
So I've actually got three centre-halves.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't make a decision and I wasn't taking two. I've got Maguire in a box. Because I was waiting on the statement from Man United about his injuries. It looks like he's not even going to be fit for the Europa League final, so I highly doubt he's in.
That's
the
annoying.
Three centre-halves I'd take. I echo everything you said about John Stones. He's been fantastic this season. He's mature a lot more than he has been previously, and that winning experience will definitely be a massive, especially if they win the Champions League as well. The other one I'm going to take is Kyle Walker. Now, I'm taking Kyle Walker under the premise that he's going to play a right centre-back in a back three and not in a back four. I don't trust him in the slightest in a back four, but I think in a back three, I definitely think he's got the quality, he's got the pace, he's got the athleticism. And based on how Southgate's played in the past, I would probably echo the fact that it will probably be a back three.
Yeah.
Which is, and then the other centre back I've taken now, he's not actually in rumours to go to the Euros, but I'm taking him anyway, and that's Tomori.
I'm the same.
He's had an absolutely outstanding season for AC Milan. It looks like they're going to exercise their option to buy for 35 million, which 6 months ago they weren't sure whether they would pay that price, and now they're paying it without a second question. So if that doesn't tell you the kind of player he's developed into under AC Milan, I don't know what is. He broke the record for the highest jump in Serie A, breaking Ronaldo's record, overtowering Ronaldo to win a header at the back post in a 3-0 AC Milan win over Juventus the other day. So all in for me, he's been an outstanding centre-half this season. He's played in a club that has high expectations, where the pressure is high, where the intensity is high, and out-jumping players like Ronaldo. Portugal and France are some of the favourites for the competition. So when you're going to have the likes of Benzema, when you're going to have the likes of Kylian Mbappe, you're going to have the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, João Felix, that's the kind of player with that ability and that quality you want in that defence. So the three centre-halves I would take are John Stones, I can't say his first name, but Tomori, and Kyle Walker. And this is under the premise we're playing a back three as well. Now, obviously, it's risky because three centre halves. If you're playing a back three, one gets injured, you're a bit screwed. But
it's a risk you got to take. Yeah, it's a risk you got to take in some ways. I'm also the same with Tomori. I'm fully with you there. I thought ever since he's done that move to Milan, coming to a country there, he's a big country as well. He's had to adapt with life there. He's looked quality. And I've noticed his class clearances this season. He's always full of energy on the pitch. Both strong and fast, of course, too. And I feel, I mean, it's a permanent deal there now, isn't it, to Milan?
It will be if they exercise their option to buy, which it seems like they're planning on doing.
Yeah. So I feel Chelsea have unfortunately lost a great defender and another great player, which I've said before a lot about Chelsea, But yeah, like you said, from how well he's done, Gareth Southgate needs to understand that talent there and bring him to the Euros, I think, and give him at least a chance. And yeah, perhaps Maguire out of the spotlight now. He'll somewhat have to find him, having to bring him. But I'll put Maguire on my team for now, as in expecting him to, but I know he won't. I'll at the end, guys, as well. I've got some honourable mentions of some players that me and Dave will quickly talk about, and there is a defender in there that needs deserves more respect in some cases. Yeah, I'm also the same, and hear you with Walker. I'm in the team that I kind of want to start, or a formation that I want to kind of bring it would be more of a back four. Now, I'm mixed between the classic 4-3-3 that Southgate's looked of doing throughout the 3 games that we last played in the World Cup qualifiers. But I'm also interested in a 4-5-1 with Kane on his own, but with a lot of the support with from the attack of Mason Mount and different players. But, in some ways I do feel like the 4-3-3 supports Kane. But I've spoke. I'm gonna bring. So I'm gonna bring Kyle Walker, and I've put next to him as well in an arrow, saying you can have him as a centre back too, without a doubt. Okay. He's always been class, and this season we've seen it in greater detail. I feel in the European tournaments he's so strong on the ball, can leap forward well. I do like it when he joins the attack. I feel he creates that kind of strong wall in the attack. Of not preventing the ball to go any further into the opposition's half, So having him just there in the attack, it kind of creates another option as to he can perhaps become a little bit of a playmaker as he leaps up the field. And I'll put this as well, unpopular, but is he the best right back at the moment?
No.
Who would you say it's
No. When we get onto the right backs, I'll.
Okay. I like it.
Not giving anything away at the moment. On a side note, though, Kyle Walker's good as well because as he proves for Manchester City in the group stages, he can play in goal if we need him to. So.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Give him the gloves. Yeah.
Do that for the thumbnail. Get the photo of Kyle Walker in goal and have Kyle Walker the goalkeeper for England starting squad.
I'm probably gonna make it after this, so it's actually it's an idea, man.
That'd be good fun.
But yeah, I love Walker, so he's definitely in my team. And again, winning mentality. He's been part of this Manchester City side. I want winning mentality players. I want them there. But yeah. You got another defender you were gonna say about.
So I'll go on to my 2 right backs now.
Go for it.
So the first one is Trent. Now, I get he's had a average season by his standard, but his standard is stupidly high. And I just don't know. The only argument you can say for leaving Trent out is Trippier plays the same way offensively, maybe not to a high level, and Trippier's in a title-winning team potentially this season.
Yeah.
That's the only argument you can make. But for me, I'm going to be playing a 3 at the back system. So for me, Trent is an absolute no-brainer. The other one I've included is James. Now, the reason why is because when Chelsea played against Leicester, they dropped James as a right centre-back in a back 3 to deal with Jamie Vardy. Now, that's potentially something England could look at with Kyle and Walker and Reece James interchanging. Both can play at centre-back if need be on a right-hand side. Both can play at wing-back if need be. I think for me, those 2 are a no-brainer. James is maybe you could say has been a little bit hit and miss, but for me, I think I'd want to take him just for that versatility option. Southgate probably isn't going to take Trent. If he doesn't, my choice is Trippier, but my personal choice would be Trent and Reece James.
Okay, interesting. There was I don't think you've mentioned him, but there was. Are you so your defenders are done? You got any more?
Yeah, that's my defenders done. No.
Cool. I was gonna say because one name I don't think you mentioned, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You're not a fan?
Not for me. I think
No?
I think defensively he's not better than the other two, and I think offensively he just doesn't offer the same thing for the system I want to play. So for me, he's just not suitable, unfortunately.
Well, it's interesting because I'll talk about Wan-Bissaka. He's in my one. He's in my team. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm a
quite
massive
interesting.
fan. I'm a massive fan of him. Yeah, okay. In some ways, like if I look at Trent and Ben Chilwell, they're next to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'll get onto them in a minute. Okay, yeah, he isn't the same kind of player as them, as as you say, offensively. But I feel he's got hunger. I feel he's real underrated as well. Last season he got the most tackles in the Premier League, a proper defensive player. He might work well with Stones because again is the either right back or centre half as I put Wan-Bissaka really. You know what you're getting. Okay, he might not be a massive starter. Okay, he might make more depth than anything, but you do. I've looked at him this season and I'm seeing clean tackles, and I want clean tackles. It's desperately needed in the Euros. We give away a free kick on the edge of the box. Ronaldo comes up to take it. Mbappe comes up to take it. Whoever comes up to take it, they've got a chance, especially if we've got like Pickford or someone in that in goal. But he's a proper defensive player, and we might just need him going in, the last 10 minutes in a big game in the group stage, let's say, and we're only 2-1 up. I feel safe having him in the team, and yeah, like I said, he doesn't get enough respect, I don't think, in some ways. I am a big fan of him, and I've noticed said about Ben Chilwell as well. He's going in there as two left backs. But the last one is Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm with you on that one. Like Chilwell, it's very much attacking. And I've put in brackets here. You could have him in the midfield too. It's a real good creative player to have in this squad because there's a lot Southgate can do with him in any moment in the game. If he needs to be in the defence, he can do that. He can tackle. We've seen that before. Okay, he might not be the greatest at it compared to someone like Kyle Walker, but then you whack him up in the midfield, and he's got a great kind of crossing accuracy that he can whip the balls into Harry Kane, and we can see something from him. He's a playmaker. I think he's been one of the better players in the Liverpool team in an average season, in some ways. He's he's a right wing back. I don't think, in my eyes, he won't be a main starter in my team in a four in the back. Ideally, I'd like Luke Shaw, Stones. In a perfect world, I'd have Maguire. If he's not there, then perhaps Wan-Bissaka or Tomori. In somewhat games, and then in the right back, Kyle Walker. But you can bring on Trent to kind of create some attack in the last 10 minutes and to help with the playmaking of the goal. But yeah, that's our defence. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, I've got 8 defenders in this team.
I've got 7.
You've got 7. Yeah. And that's interesting really because we get to this. We'll speak about the midfield now and the attack. It's more of the exciting part to talk about in this team, isn't it?
Yeah. I actually want to talk about, you mentioned him at the beginning, my first midfielder, and I'm doing it actually in a different order to what's written on my paper, but you mentioned someone at the very beginning before we started recording who might be in your honourable mentions, and if he is and he isn't in your first team, I have to question what you were smoking when you come up with this list. And that first name is Jordan Henderson. He's won everything there is to win.
He's
my
team.
Absolute leader, and thank God for that.
Yeah.
I will happily hold my hand on heart and turn around and say that 3-4 years ago when I ripped him to shreds, I said he didn't have enough quality, I said he didn't have enough ability, I said he wasn't a born leader. I was completely wrong. And it takes a lot for me to admit on live recording that I'm completely wrong. I think he's an absolute key part of Liverpool. I think he's a key part of the England team. And for me, he's one of the first names to team sheet.
Yeah.
In my opinion, despite being a massive fan of Harry Kane, I believe Jordan Henderson should be England captain. And
Yeah.
I think he's got the quality, the ability, and the leadership to carry England to that next step in terms of midfield. So I think he's an absolute no-brainer. And for me, every game that he's fit, he should be starting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go through my midfielders first, if you don't mind, and then we'll.
Absolutely fine. Oh, well, real quickly on Henderson. Sorry, I'll speak about Henderson when I get to him. Does he remind you of Scholes in some way with the passing? Is that just me with his passing, his long balls?
He reminds me a little, passing wise. He reminds me a little bit more like Gerrard. He just doesn't seem to score many goals. But I think that's because he fits slightly deeper. But I definitely think his experience and his maturity is going to be absolutely key if England have to get anything but an utter embarrassment in the Euros.
True. Who you got around the midfield? Yeah.
So my next midfielder, very controversially, is Jesse Lingard. Now,
fair play. Yep.
People say, he's in a purple patch, this, that, and the other. But he's proven that he can just turn it on like that. His scoring is great. His chance creation is great. And I think to have him that option, you can play him in the 3 at the back system I want to play. You can have him further forward. You can have him slightly deeper. And I think he'll be a massive one. I know he's one that people have said, he's in a purple patch. Best time to put someone in the England team when they're in the run of form of their life, when they are creating chances, and when they are playing to a higher level than you've ever seen them play. That's the best time to have them in England. So for me, it would definitely be Jesse Lingard in there. Another controversial one is Jude Bellingham. Now,
massively, yeah, fair.
I think the season he's had for Dortmund has been outstanding. He's in their team of the season. He's been one of their best players. He's won trophy this season, the winning mentality that you've spoken about. And I think all in, he has been a fantastic midfielder. He's a well-rounded midfielder as well. He's not offensive. He's not defensive. So if you're looking to hold out a game, you've got Henderson there, and you've got a more like a number 10 next to him. Take that player off, bring on Jude Bellingham, hold out the game, get that maturity, gain that experience. I'd want to take him because if there is an opportunity to use him, I would like to, but he wouldn't be one of my first team starters, but I do definitely think he deserves to go.
When I saw him in that Man City game, real quickly, in the Champions League, when he came to Etihad, he was incredible.
He was outstanding, for sure. Another player that people say controversially, and the club he plays for hasn't had the best of seasons, and that's James Ward-Prowse. Now,
I'm with you there. I've got him in mind.
First of all, his set pieces, his passing ability, his crossing ability, long balls over the top. Having him and Henderson able to slit slightly deeper, Ward-Prowse drifting forward, playing the longer passes over the top, playing the pass out to the left wing back, the right wing back, so into Kane to lay the ball off. For me, I think he's an absolute no-brainer, and he's not had the best season for club, but I think for country, he could be a real asset.
Plus, it's refreshing to see, because if we go back to 2010, it was literally Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool. Yeah, and it's refreshing to see Southampton now have a player representative in there. I've also got a West Ham player who I'm going to speak about as well. It isn't Jesse Lingard. He might be in your team, might not. You know what I'm on about.
3 more midfielders to go.
Go for it. But it is refreshing to see these new faces and new clubs, having players represented in the Euros.
For sure. I think it's massive credit to the academy system and the setup they have and the facilities they have in their clubs. The West Ham player you're most certainly talking about is Declan Rice. Now, again, I think he's another player that I wouldn't necessarily start him over Henderson. He's someone that I would feel comfortable dropping into centre-back if need be. If there's injuries, I'd feel comfortable. Him and John Stones alongside a Kyle Walker or a Tomori in that centre-back role, I'd feel comfortable with that for sure. He's definitely got the passing ability. I definitely don't think he's a guaranteed starter for me personally.
Yeah.
But I do think his quality is enough for sure, and his form this season has been enough for sure to get into that England squad. Another player who I definitely don't think is a guaranteed starter, who will absolutely work their arse off, and that's Mason Mount. Chelsea player of the season. His work rate, I still don't think his ability is up there with some of the levels that people are saying, but I think in terms of his work rate is priceless. He's got the basic ability, he's got the passing, he's got the goals in him. I think, again, while not a starter for me in my perfect to the England team, I definitely think he has to be taken because he could be a real asset off the bench. And then the last midfielder I've got, who could be a midfielder or attacker, and that's Phil Foden.
Oh, yes.
Now, he's been fantastic this season. I want to see him drift into pockets of space. I want to see him make runs beyond Harry Kane. That's the kind of role I want to see him play. I don't really know why I put him in midfielders, but that's the kind of role I want to see him play. I want to see him be in and around the box, ready if the ball's laid off, ready if crosses come into the box, because I think again, another player that I said 3 or 4 years ago, categorically, would be in a mid-table team in 5 years, hand on heart. I was wrong by a country mile. He's a massive asset to Manchester City, and I believe he could be a massive asset to England as well.
Yeah, no, true. He's looked phenomenal. I'll talk about him in a bit. But yeah, I've got pretty much other than sadly Lingard. I will mention him right at the end. He isn't in my team sadly, but he can without a doubt do the job in midfield. But I'll run through mine. So yeah, another West Ham player who I am going to start, Declan Rice. He's a really, really underrated player in this league. If he had a Man United shirt on, he'd be talked about the whole time, without a doubt.
West Ham fans are going to love you for that one.
West Ham fans agree with me. I've got a West Ham fan mate at work, and he's saying the same. You know, he's proper underrated. But yeah, he makes, again, very clean tackles. The kind of tackles that I'm looking at, Dave, and it reminds me of Ollie Skip. I won't lie to you, mate. I won't lie to you.
Ollie.
Really quickly, 'cause I know some mates from work watch this.
We spoke about this the other day. Actually.
I think
I know exactly what you're gonna
I get so heated over this. Like 5 years time from now, Ollie Skip, England team.
England captain.
Yes, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, man. He will.
In 5 years' time, if you're still doing YouTube, I'll be back on this channel with an Ollie Skip England shirt.
Oh, done. Bro, I might actually have to have a Skip on the back as well, man. Yeah.
When I believe when Henderson eases out the England team, Skip will ease in as a replacement.
Yeah, because what Henderson 28, 29 right now? Is it about that?
I think he's older than that.
Or is he? Yeah. I think he is actually.
2 seconds. I'm gonna mute my mic. I'll find out how old he is. He's 30, according to Alexa. Oh,
nice.
You can shut up now.
30 years of age. Nice. So yeah. Skip will slowly come into that team, I think. And
yeah, you'd think Henderson would probably make one more World Cup after this, and then he'd be eased out just because his legs probably, especially the kind of football Liverpool play as well. If Jurgen Klopp's still there in 4 years' time, and even if he's not, the style of football Gerrard plays, very high pressing, high intensity, constant running. You'd have to think that Henderson would be eased out the England team at some point in the next 4 or 5 years, and then obviously that would make way for Oliver Skip if he doesn't already push his way in.
Yeah, true, and it's nice just to see, like, we were talking about youngsters back in, like, 2018, like, who might be here one day, and some are, the likes of Mount, Foden, perhaps, and other players, and Skip is one that we're talking about, and I think he will in 4 years' time or 5 years' time or so, but Declan Rice, the same with Ollie Skip in these brilliant clean tackles. Timing is perfect on these tackles as well. That's what I want in this England team. He's one for accurate long passes, a lot like Henderson, who is in my team as well. So for the friendlies, I want to start Rice just to see what he has to offer, because the friendlies is about being creative in some senses, but definitely don't rule out Henderson in terms of, we need start him. The only issue that Southgate might see is Henderson has had this injury blow this season, and it's that issue of fitness wise, but you can slowly bring him in. He's starting to slowly be there for Liverpool right now, isn't he? So
you've got to take him for his.
Yeah,
you've got to take him for his voice in the dressing room as much as his playing ability.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt.
The advantage, I guess, the advantage England have this Euros, I suppose, is there's only one Spurs player in it, so they can't accuse Spurs of bottling the Euros for England this time. So, because I've had that thrown at me before.
Oh man, it's I think with England, like we are just the bottle club of England, so I'm with you there, mate. Yeah. But yeah, it's always like I'm always happy to see Rice and having him. Again, it's a bit like a Wan-Bissaka kind of feel. You feel safe there. I'm happy if he's in this team, and that kind of transitions myself to say my next midfielder on someone who Rice knows, and Rice will will bring that joy to the team as well. Like Henderson in some way, every photo I've seen of him, he's just smiling with the team. And a player he plays with and has known for all his life pretty much is Mason Mount. I want him there. Not because them two on the field know each other, but Mount is so skillful. He keeps the ball well at his feet and addresses the situation well on the pitch a lot this season. And like I said, he's worked with Rice a lot before. It'll be like second nature, him on the pitch with Rice. He's doing it on big European nights as well. So and this is the question of, we need this in the Euros. We need you to be doing these. Replicate this as you come in the Euros. 6 goals, 5 assists. Okay, it's not massive numbers, but I feel like you said in the purple patch. I feel Mount has been in some purple patch through this end part of the season now, and he's only going to get better. So I feel criminal not to bring him in some ways.
Okay, fair enough.
Especially seeing him yesterday in Chelsea game, against Leicester. Ward-Prowse, I'm going to bring him as well. I'm with you on that one. I don't think a lot of people will agree with us in some ways on that. I feel a lot will, actually. But I do think he can offer a lot. Extremely versatile. He's that player in the midfield that can have a bit of everything. Because I've seen him as a great defensive midfielder, and I've also seen him as a great threat in the attack. He's already had that England experience too. That's massive under his belt to have. He soaked up a lot of game time with Southgate, and I feel he'll definitely be there because Southgate has sees the promising side to him. He'll do the job, and as well, set piece specialist in the Euros.
Oh yeah, we've got the kind of height we've got in defence, when we've got the kind of height in midfield, when we've got the likes of Harry Kane, there's nobody you want crossing the ball in on corners and free kicks more than James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
Look at the goal that Shea Adams scored against, I think it was Fulham, for Southampton. I think it was the other week. It was literally a wide free kick, just before the halfway line, long ball over the top, and it drops in the right place. Shane Long smash it in, and having Harry Kane at the end of those kind of chances is a joy to behold, to be honest.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think there was a Norwich game once I went to against Southampton. I think it was away, but anyway, it was a Southampton corner. It was actually up on the away end, and I said to my mate, this is going in, when he hits this in the box. It bloody well did, didn't it? He's crazy. And set piece specialist, 100%. And fun fact as well, I think his parents, I've mentioned this on another video, but his parents has a box at Portsmouth's ground. His parents are technically Portsmouth fans, that's but it happens to be Southampton have picked him up and raised him as one of his own, but yeah, he's had a great season under the Saints, and probably a better player in that a kind of slow declined Southampton side who've needed Danny Ings a lot this season. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of the midfield who I've got. Jordan Henderson, again, long balls to Foden, and then to Kane. I love that. I love thinking about that, and Harry Kane he'll search for these. Henderson will search for Kane now, and Kane will know this. Again, I know he's been out, but like we both said it, he has to go. And I think in the friendlies, it's key. One of the aims is to slowly bring Henderson into the game throughout those friendlies. Yeah, like I said, he slowly reminds me of Scholes in some ways. But he's not as good with these soft and clean interceptions as Rice, I don't think. But he can certainly do the job, and he's good to have in the dressing room as well. I'll talk about Foden a little bit later because I've kind of wanted him into the attack more than anything. But I fully understand that he can drop into the midfield. Let's just... who have I got left as well? I believe I've only got one kind of real midfielder to speak about left. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this might be the controversial one in some ways. This will be your Lingard. However, this is my James Maddison. He's a winning player. No, I know. Lingard will get a massive honourable mention at the end as well. But he's a winning player with the Leicester team now. And like I said, we need winning players. He's very versatile. He'll be all over the pitch. You can put him in the left. You can put him in the middle. You can put him on the right. You could bring him on and he will control the game for us. If you need, if his specific role at the end, Dave, is to come onto the pitch and just to hold up this play of possession to protect a lead that we have against, I don't know, let's say against Spain, we're winning 2-1. Right at the end, his aim is to control this ball, and he does that well. Then he's done the job in my eyes. He's not a starter. He isn't a starter.
Okay.
All the time at all. He's going to be mainly be brought off the bench. I do think Southgate will be bringing Lingard. I do, but I want Madison there.
Okay.
I think he
is
can
that
have
a
some
slight
important
Norwich
games.
bias?
I was about to say as well. Of course, it's there as well. I did almost put Lingard. There was one position I was actually going to put him in the right mid, Lingard, more than anything, and I chose someone else at the end. We'll get to that in the attack in a minute. Maybe I'll regret it, maybe I don't. He'll get a massive honourable mention at the end, of course. So maybe I feel proper bad now,
No, it's fine. I have a habit of making people bad. Did you want to go first or second on the attack?
You go for the attack, mate. Who you got? Because I know there's one big striker that I want you to be the first to speak about here.
The obvious goes without saying. Harry Kane, best striker in the world, best number 9 in the world. I don't need to say anything else. Passing range, shooting range, ability. He can score out of nothing. He's the first name on the team sheet. You don't need to say anything else. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I believe he should be going as well. I think he's got a very similar style to Kane. His passing and his hold-up play isn't quite to the same level. But I believe if we're 3-4-0 up in a game at halftime, 2-0 up in a game at halftime, I feel like he's good. We need to rest Kane. We need to protect him, because if we do make it to the later stages, Kane has to play. As simple as that. I also believe Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Harry Kane, if need be, could play up front together. I think that could be a massive asset. So that's why I've gone with him. Wingers, I've gone with Marcus Rashford. He's not had the best of seasons, if I'm completely honest with you, but I believe his blistering pace, he's got the flair, he's got the England experience, and ultimately I believe everyone else is just worse. That's what it comes down to. Jack Grealish, I've got him in as a winger. I want it in the 3 at the back system. I want to play. He could be on the right, he could be on the left, in those pockets of space, creating chances. He's potentially destined to be playing in Lily White next season, depending on what happens with the tragedy that is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So I think Grealish is a mainstay. Again, he might have to be eased in because of his injuries, but I believe he's got the right mentality, he's got the right work rate, and I believe he could be a massive asset, not even taking into account his ability. The other ability player I've gone for is Jadon Sancho. He's got bags and bags of ability. His stats this season for Dortmund have been absolutely outstanding. And on whether it's the right, whether it's the left, you could probably play him at wing back if you needed to. I believe how he's not even been in conversation for some people for their England teams. He's a main player for England, and how some people are even talking about him, I don't know. And then finally, because Foden could play in the attacking role, could play deeper, whatever. For me, the other player I'd take is Raheem Sterling. I definitely wouldn't start him. And to be honest with you, if it came to us taking Harry Maguire instead of Sterling and having an extra defender, I'd probably do that. So Sterling's just in there to make up the numbers because of Maguire not being fit. But if you said to me Maguire's fit tomorrow, he can go to the Euros, I would take Sterling out and I'd put Maguire back in the defence and I'd keep the same other defenders. So
that's fair.
That's my attack, really.
Yeah.
It goes without saying for 50% of it. So
yeah, no, you're right. I think I think we've literally got the same attack. I think I've literally got every single player there as well. Yeah, I'm the same with So Phil Foden haven't spoke about it yet. So I like to see him play on the right. I've put here the next Paul Gascoigne. I really mean that. His technical ability is class. Such a talented player. And I've put as well, I think this is why Pep's starting him more this season. He's so more decisive than Sterling. Okay, his end product might be not to the best yet. He can work on that. And this is the thing with all younger players, if they're end product or passing or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter if they're lacking that yet, because they've got the time to prove it. That's what it's still they've got this kind of get out of jail free card on being young. If a certain area of their play isn't up to the standard of the viewpoint, but yeah, he is a lot more decisive than Sterling, I think, this season. The crosses and passings he's done, I've loved everything about Phil. And he screams world class. It'd be criminal not to start him. It really wouldn't. He's highly respected by Pep as well. I think Pep's even came out and said he's one of the best youngsters he's ever coached. And I think that's in, isn't that in the lengths of having Messi as well? Which is mad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of skill. Yeah, Harry Kane is an obvious. If he's not on your team, then what are you smoking? Literally, what are you smoking? You don't even deserve to be English.
I hate to throw in anti-Spurs stuff here, but have that conversation with Daniel Levy because he doesn't seem to understand that.
No, yeah, true. But we'll mention Spurs. And next to Kane, the first thing I put is now's the time for trophies. I'm sorry, Dave, but it is now's the time for trophies.
We're not doing this.
No.
We're not doing this, man. Nah.
We're not fully going to. But he is one of the best strikers in the world, if not the best. And now is the time for a trophy, isn't it? I want him to get a medal. And I believe he'll get more, but in an England shirt, it'd mean the world. It would mean the world. And you will get goals. You'll 100% get goals from him. I think he's already contender for getting that golden boot.
Hypothetically speaking, do you think if he wins the Euros, he stays at Spurs?
Well, I mean, I actually saw a tweet before we started today from Fabrizio saying Harry Kane hasn't actually handed in a request yet. But I don't know what to believe. I can actually, this is me saying this now, I can actually see him just staying next season and just giving it one more shot. I think it all depends on the manager who comes in right at the end. Well,
I'm not going to rant about Spurs. We'll talk about it off camera, but yeah.
I don't know.
The fact that 5 years ago, like 90% of the England squad was Spurs players, and now only one player is. If that doesn't show our decline, I don't know what does. So
I get that. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, it does show like Kane's mentality is still up there. Even though he's been in this Spurs team, he still came out at the end of it as the best striker in the world, which is full respect for.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal, and he's one of the few like world class players at your team. And if he stays, and it's a blessing. It really is. With Kane, I am gonna bring Sterling. Okay, he's not my confident choice as a starter each week. Like I said, I think I've always felt he's been quite indecisive for a while now. He will bring the pace in the attack. He's a great dribbler as well. And you already know what you get from him from like other tournaments that we've seen him in before. I do expect more of a response this time, as in some ways he let us down a little in the World Cup, and now might be his time to.
Sterling, though. The problem is with Sterling, you look at how many times the ball's been put on an absolute play for him at Man City and he's missed.
This is what I mean. Yeah.
If you turn around to me and say, would I back half these youngsters that we've named to get a tap in at the back post, or would I back Sterling? Sterling's the last name on my list after Nick Pope.
No, true, mate.
Because he's had those opportunities in the past and he's not taken them.
No, yeah. I think that's why we've seen Foden, like the perfectionist world class player, being started more. And
100%.
Like, of course, I'm going to put Sterling. If I want to see Sterling play on the team, I want to see him play on the left. But a player who I would rather see is Jack Grealish. Now, despite being injured, we need to still bring him. It'll be like Henderson again. The aim in the friendlies is perhaps to give Grealish and Henderson some game time going into them, because they've been out and we need them fully ready for this England team and back in playing regular football again. I think he can offer a lot more and be more ruthless than Sterling. Now, the classic thing is with Grealish is when he dives, I'm always complaining on the TV. However, this time in an England shirt, I will be saying dive all the while to get set pieces. Don't be stupid and dive and get yourself sent off, lad. But dive all you can to get yourself a set piece now and then. If it is the case, I'm not pushing him for just going out and that being his aim. But if it comes to him diving and getting a set piece in some way, literally, mate. He's the Suarez of the team. If it comes down to like him diving and it's a set piece for Ward-Prowse to line up and score, then I think we're completely forgetting about that kind of negative play in football, shall we say. But he's wonderful to watch. Other than that diving side to him, he's a wonderful dribbler, a great finisher, and a lot more decisive than Sterling. You know.
I'm gonna quote you on those comments about Grealish when Aston Villa beat you by 1 goal from a Grealish dive. Next season, I'm going to quote you back to this again. You told him you were fine with him diving.
Villa's the one team I'm fearing of. Even though like they could just be awful, but still, they're the one team I'm fearing of coming to Carrow Road because they done us 5-1 last time. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's another cup of tea. Oh yeah. I'm gonna try and watch that one. Nice, but yeah, I do like. However, on the left, I do like thinking of Foden playing the left wing and having Mason Mount on that left hand side too. I feel that would be a little kind of connection there. But that's another creative option for Southgate to do. On the right hand side, Jadon Sancho, with you there again. Something special about him, and yeah, you're right. He doesn't get spoken about enough. 8 goals, 13 assists this season. His step overs and flicking of the ball goes. It's just honestly, if you're bored, just search in Jadon Sancho skills 2021. Just literally do this year, and it's a figure beauty. Just watch it, honestly. Again, another player who would be criminal not to bring. The last 2 games he's played, he's been class in the Bundesliga. I was having a little look earlier. There's so much technical ability, and if we have Sancho and Foden both on the pitch, then we've technically got a Sancho, which is a Foden part 2 in a way. He's literally like Foden with his technical ability. So yeah, easy going. And I've got two players left. So yeah, that backup striker who I bring is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Start of the season he was class, and he still is now. He's a great backup, and it was interesting because I hadn't really thought of maybe playing the 2 up front, but we can do that. It would work well, and I can see it working well. Funny enough is how I played with him on Ultimate Team. I had Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Harry Kane, and it actually gave me proper points. So if there's anything like that on my Ultimate Team, then we're in luck if that's the case. But yeah, I think Southgate will. I see him playing the 1 up front a lot of the time, and DCL still fits in with that. If we bring Kane off and put DCL on. His runs to meet with the ball in the box are exceptional. His timing is brilliant. He reads the play so well, and that makes him score just easy goals a lot of the time because of his run, because of his play. I think he'll, put him as a manager one day. Honestly, he's definitely not a starter like Kane, but he's got the depth there and brilliant at finishing. And my last one, real quickly, Rashford. He is extremely versatile, and players like Rashford, it gives a lot of options for Southgate. Put him on the striking position if you want. Put him on the right. Put him on the left. He is a big starter for me. However, he hasn't had the greatest season without a doubt. But I know he'll do the job. Again, you put him up front. He's got a good finishing. Maybe we haven't seen it a lot this season, however, but I've said it, in some ways he's a little bit like Sterling. I felt a little bit indecisive as well, in that sense. But I've seen him take his time cutting into the box at times too. But yeah, it'd suit how Southgate would play it, the 1 up front. He'd suit that because he's used to that with United in a way. And with Rashford, Southgate has plenty of options, so I'm happy with Rashford at starting in the attack.
I actually said at the beginning that I didn't know the formation and who I'd actually play as my preferred.
How would you go for it? How would you go for it, mate?
So I would go Pope in goal, a back 3 with wing backs as Shaw, Tomori, Stones, Walker, and Trent. I'd have James Ward-Prowse and Henderson in the 2, and I'd have Sancho off the left, Foden off the right, and Kane up front. And Foden and Sancho drifting into them pockets of space. Grealish on for Sancho if you need that bit more creativity. Drifting into the pockets of space. You can bring Mason Mount in the same position. There's a lot of options there. And the midfield has a high quality of passing ability, a long and short range, which I think is important. Wing backs bombing forwards, create the width. That for me, that would be my preference.
That's fair, yeah. I like that. I've gone for a different approach, maybe like more traditional or more what Southgate's doing now. But I'd rather have a 4-3-3 where you have Nick Pope in goal, Luke Shaw, Stones with either Tomori or Wan-Bissaka. I feel like they'd do a good job. Or you can even have Walker. See, this is the good thing about the players who we've said about bringing, is that there's so much Southgate can do. There's absolutely everything he can do in this squad, creative-wise. So, yeah, Walker, Tomori, Aaron Wan-Bissaka in that other centre-half role next to Stones. I think Stones is a big starter this summer. Right back, again, Walker or Trent. The free midfield, I am actually having faith in Rice. I'd like to see Rice start a few games. Henderson shouldn't be pushed into the dark or whatever. And then I have left centre midfield. I'd actually have Mount. And then the right centre midfield. Who have I got for that? I'm actually trying to think now. I think there's someone big I'm forgetting here. Yeah, that's it. Ward-Prowse. I'd have him because he offers a bit of everything, defensive and attacking wise. And then the free in the attack. So this is where you can be extremely creative. Foden on the right, Kane up front, of course. Kane is there. And then on the left, I'd probably be having Grealish. However, Jadon Sancho is an option. Without a doubt, Sterling's an option. Rashford's an option. There's no options everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And let's quickly get on to a honourable mention. So I've gone just 4 players. I believe you've. Oh, there's one here that I'm looking at. We haven't started, and it'll be interesting. I'll get onto him last, but
okay.
Lingard, I haven't started him. However, he is in this big purple patch. He's the one player I actually feel really bad for not starting now. I probably do. I was actually halfway through writing Lingard and then crossed him out and put, I've got to bring Sancho. Connor Cody, big centre half. I'm actually a massive fan of him. I think he's been in a bit of a decline Wolves side this season. Maybe if we go 6 months back, we're going bring Connor Cody, but I don't know. I feel harsh in not starting him. Reece James, you're bringing him, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad again not bringing him. He's a proper hungry player. I do feel he gets a bit hot-headed at times. Seen that in the cup, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this is the one now. This would be a good discussion point right at the end to end with Calvin Phillips. Do we see the hype in him? Because I haven't. This is the one player yet, Dave, who I haven't seen the hype in him, but he's in the mainstream sports media.
I think he's got a lot of quality, but if I look at the players that are going to be holding midfielder, Henderson, Rice, Ward-Prowse in my case.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get in.
Yeah.
I think he's a Declan Rice gets injured, Declan Rice can't play, he's a last minute call up.
Yeah. I'd go with that
kind
at
of
least.
Position, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd go with that without a doubt. But yeah, I don't know if you have any mentions. I think we'll cover a lot of the good players, and we like ones who would be considered. I think the only one you could say is Danny Ings for Calvert-Lewin, but even then, for me, Danny Ings just doesn't fit the style of. He's too dissimilar to Harry Kane. I feel like you want someone similar for rotation. So, I really and truly, to be honest with you, I think there were certain positions that picked themselves, certain positions that were difficult. But as I say, there's no one really that I haven't included. The only other honourable mention you could say is Trippier if Trent gets in. But to be honest with you, I think Southgate will probably pick Trippier over Trent. Not that I agree with that. But if Trippier doesn't get picked, then he's another one you could say is an honourable mention. He's had an outstanding season for Atletico Madrid. Yeah. He's the only other one. But other than that, for me, I don't think there are really any others. But yeah, I feel we've had a good selection. Tell us anything down below in the comments who you'd start. If there's a player we've missed somehow, it could easily happen perhaps, but I don't think it will. Then mention it down below and also tell us your teams as well. Get involved, comment. I want to hear from you guys. But yeah, other than that, I feel we're in good hands in some ways with this team this season. Or this summer, shall I say.
Except for the fact that Gareth Southgate's manager.
Oh, now that's another discussion itself. But yeah. So when Southgate goes, who do you like to see as the new England manager?
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah,
I think
50-50.
the time's running out for an opportunity for him before Liverpool job comes available. I think we need to get Gerrard. We need to get Gerrard quickly. The style of play, the quality play. James Tavernier finished top goal scorer in the Scottish League this season. You know, I feel like the quality he has as a manager, the style of football he plays, the brand of football he plays. He knows England. He knows the issues they've had with trying to play too many superstars in the past. I think for me, he'd be my dream choice as the next England manager. Having said that, if that wasn't possible, I'd absolutely love Rafa Benitez.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Rafa would do a great job. I do feel more confident with Rafa than Gerrard, but maybe I just need to see Gerrard in England first. Maybe I'm being typical English. I don't know. But nonetheless, he's done an amazing job at Rangers, without a doubt.
They went unbeaten all of last season.
They've had an invincible season. I'm 50-50 with Gerrard. If Eddie Howe wasn't going to Celtic, I'd actually love Eddie Howe.
Nah, not for me. Completely disagree with you on that point. I don't think. No. I think he massively overachieved at Bournemouth in the sense of I don't think that the style of football he plays, the way he tried to play, the way Bournemouth was set up defensively, I don't think was great at all. I just don't rate Eddie Howe in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel what he's done at Bournemouth with such a little budget in growing them and bringing them up to the Premier League, and he did get them as a stable Premier League side in the end, and I will say in that last season when they did go down, he had a massive injury list. It was pretty much as bad as ours. Back when he was a manager, as in this is another manager, I actually did fancy Wenger as well. I would have loved Wenger there as well.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah. I'll tell you someone else actually. If we're gonna go absolute sheer Brexit means Brexit, I'd love Sean Dyche. I think it'd be a good laugh.
Yeah, he would. He plays comfortable football, don't he? You know, you know what you get from Dyche. Yeah. LOL. But that's another story itself, and I hopefully Southgate has one good last campaign with this team, and we get a trophy at the end of it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one today. Just sharing our 23-man England team. Remember, it does come out next week on Tuesday, the 25th. And be interesting to see who Southgate's picked. To see more from Dave, his links are down below. The Unmuted Voice. You also got David's, his channel as well. So that'll be an upload tonight as well. That'll be already out when this is uploaded. But make sure you support him in every way possible. Also give the video a like and also subscribe as well. We're trying to. I think the target I've set for myself is 130 by the end of the month. I think we're only 4 away from that. So a little small target now to the end of the month. So let's see if we can do it. But yeah, cheers guys. Thank you for watching.
Me after this video making multiple accounts to get to that.
I'll be like, what? Hit it already? But cheers for watching this one, guys. You stay safe as well, guys, everyone. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.